Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back to the Drama Experience. I'm Dim.
And I'm Tay.
And we're back with another video. We're in our religious attire in this holy month of Ramadan.
For those of you who do not know what Ramadan is, it is the holy month for Muslims. It's a time where Muslims fast, give increased charity, and increased prayer and worship during this time. So in our holy month, we decided to share a little bit of our story of how I converted to Islam, because it's not something that we really talked about with many people. Some people know that I converted, some people don't. So if you don't know us, yes, I did convert to Islam, and today we're going to talk a little bit about it.
Got some questions for her. Her followers got some questions for her, and I think she got some questions for me too, right?
I might.
But yeah, so let's get into it. Question number one that I have for my lovely wife: what made you convert to Islam?
So it was kind of a weird thing. Like, I feel like I've actually always been around Muslims since I was young. Like, when I was in middle school, high school, I had like a lot of Muslim friends. I went to an after school program that was in like a big Muslim neighborhood. So I just had a lot of friends. Like, Ramadan would come. That was years ago. So it would be summer, and like I did karate when I grew up. So I would have all my friends at karate, and we would go to tournaments, and they would be fasting. I would just be blown away, like, you're not gonna eat, how are you gonna compete, and you're hungry? My karate teacher, who I was really close to growing up as a kid, was also a Muslim. So I always been really aligned with understanding, like, from a very, very basic idea of what Islam was. And then I met this guy. So I was like in a relationship with someone who was also Muslim. Like, I grew up Christian, but my family was not religious at all. I remember going to Easter to church like 1 to 2 times in my whole entire life. My family is really big on like tradition. So like when we celebrate Christmas, it's nothing about Jesus. It's nothing about anything religious. It's more like we need to get these kids some gifts. So it's not necessarily that I come from a religious family, but I was like, I'm getting older and I want to have more of a religious sense of spirituality. And I was like, maybe it's just because I don't connect with the religion that I grew up in, because it was kind of assigned to me at birth, right? I didn't get a chance to pick it. And I've never been taught to kind of practice it. Maybe if I switch and become a Muslim, I would enjoy it, and it would be something I practice. And then I also didn't feel like I had to change a lot of myself. After I read about the religion, I felt like who I am as a person aligned with the religion. So I felt like it would be a good transition for me.
Okay, this is another question I feel like I had to ask, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably thought or think that I ever asked you or made you convert.
He's never asked me at all. When I actually came up with it on my own, and I told him, it was not anything that he's ever asked me or even like tried to imply that it was something that I should even think about.
I feel like the reason why I did that, like never like pushed it towards her or even asked her to do it, is because that's not what I wanted to do. She have to make her own decisions at the end of the day. That's another reason. Also, as a Muslim, the person that I'm able to marry don't have to be a Muslim either, you know what I mean? They just gotta be either Christian or Jewish. It was not something that dwelled on me so much, you know what I mean? As long as she was a great person that she is, and a loving person, it was fine, you know what I mean? I'm more of like a character, morals, and what's right and what's wrong in this world. Did you ever feel any pressure from my family to convert?
I didn't feel pressure. I think when I actually converted, it was very close to the time that we were getting married, because it just ended up working out like that. But in part of when we were in the process of getting married, Dembo took me to meet his uncle. And his uncle was basically serving as the father figure in our marriage process.
Shout out to Daddy Duga.
Daddy Duga, he's like one of our favorite uncles. I love all the uncles, I'm just saying. But anyway, he even explicitly told me that I didn't have to convert. He was like, you know, I heard that you're interested in converting, and we can do that, but I just want to let you know, like, you don't have to. If you don't want to, we can still like proceed with the marriage. No, we didn't get married and I converted all in the same day, but they were closer in the timeline.
Next question. Do you think our family dynamic would be the same if you did not convert?
No. I think it'd be quite difficult because especially like during Ramadan, I think it'd be really difficult. Unless I was Christian, but I was kind of like fasting or it would kind of be weird because we have a kid together. Ramadan, it just feels really good when you break fast with your family, when you pray as a family, so that you don't kind of feel like you're by yourself. So I do think that if I didn't convert, it would just be a little bit difficult to kind of like keep everybody together, like this family structure. Like Raya right now, she's 1, but as she gets older, she will see like, oh, mom's not eating, or mom is not coming with us to the mosque, or mom's not gonna eat, like mom's not gonna celebrate it. So then mom's not part of it, and then that's kind of like, why not? You know?
No, you're right.
So I would say that it kind of a little bit off, unless you're willing to like still participate in some of the portions of the religion without converting.
Had there been a time you felt overwhelmed by the religion?
Not overwhelmed, but it's definitely a lot, right?
Okay.
It's a lot of things that you need to do. And you need to pray 5 times a day. But so you work at 8 hours. There's 2 prayers in between the time that you start work. If you work like a traditional like 9 to 5 type of job, there's 2 prayers in between that time. So if you don't stop to pray at work, when you get home, now you have to pray. And then by the time you finish that, you gotta pray again. I haven't been a Muslim as a child. And people who are Muslims as children are used to their parents like waking them up to pray Fajr in the morning, and they're used to kind of having that structure. Also, I think like learning about the religion in the sense of like reading the Quran and understanding like the Arabic and the translations, that's like a lot too, because people who are born Muslim or became Muslim at a really young age probably went to Arabic school as a child. So as an adult, you have to go to Arabic school, but like there's adults who could barely like go to school and work at the same time. So imagine like being a mom, being an adult, having some form of a social life, being a wife, and then also trying to find time to go to Arabic school. How long were you in Arabic school for? Like a day?
I forgot. Was it like 3 or 4 hours?
I would assume that it wasn't like
it was
not like a 1 hour session.
No. It was like 3 or 4 hours, I think from like 7 to like 10 or 6 to like 9 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot. It was not like a 1 hour session. No, it was definitely not 1 hour.
So to think about like having to take up that big chunk of time could be overwhelming, because you're like, when am I going to do this? How am I going to learn so much? There's like, how am I going to learn all of this that people have learned since they were 7 years old?
6,
And I'm like 30. How am I going to find time to do it? But I do think that like, I got to give myself some grace. That's 1. And 2, as long as I have a intention of learning it and you find time to do it how you want to do it. It's 2022 now. Zoom exists. The internet exists. And Dempo's brother, my brother-in-law Sule, he knows the Quran front and back. So if I ever need anything, like I can always ask him. So I do have a lot of resources available to me, not in that such traditional way of learning. So I think that provides me with a little bit of relief.
Now, next question. What are some challenges you experienced being a converted Muslim?
I think one of the biggest challenges is like kind of what I was talking about before, like not knowing everything. There are so many people who are culturally different in Islam. And like some people mix their culture with the religion, and then it makes it difficult for people like me who don't know the religion, because some people will say certain things that they believe is true and it's not.
And it's not true.
So then it's like, how do you operate? Like, okay, somebody told me, oh, you know that all Muslim men, they have to marry Muslims. Like people probably think that Muslims have to marry Muslims. Muslim women do, but not Muslim men, right? If someone had just told you that, you would just go around thinking that, not knowing the truth or what's actually factual. You need to pray 5 times a day. Like everybody needs to pray 5 times a day. But like certain things are sunnah, what the prophets did. It's like something that you should do, but it's not something that you have to do. Certain things that is prohibited, like is it really prohibited or is it just not Muslim friendly, right? So like some people would say Muslims can't smoke. But then some Muslims smoke cigarettes. So it's like, is smoking haram? All of these things, like all of these concepts of like what is right or what is like morally wrong to do versus like Muslims should not drink because that is prohibited, right? That is a fact. So I think that that's where it becomes difficult for me because I'm the type of person like I need to know facts.
Yes, the fact.
I need to know facts. Like I can't do all of these like shades of gray. I'm a very black and white person, and if it's a shade of gray, you gotta tell me it's a shade of gray. So I think that that is the most difficult for me. But I have Sule, and the good thing about him is that like if he doesn't know something, and I ask him a question and he doesn't know, he will literally say I don't know, and he will go to other scholars that he knows. And he will figure it out, and then he will come back to me with an answer. Yeah. So I feel like shout out to Sule because he will explain everything to you in a way that it makes sense.
So since we're in the holy month of Ramadan, I just want to ask you, how has Ramadan and fasting been for you in general?
At first, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to fast because.
And she's a foodie. She loves eating. Somebody that hasn't been fasting their whole life. You know what I mean? I feel like I've been basically preparing myself my whole life to fast. So
I'm the type of person, I eat breakfast. Like, some people who go without eating breakfast, I'll be like, I gotta stop at the store or something, get me a sandwich. I'm hungry. I think what really helped is my first Ramadan. I lived in his papa's house. So I literally stayed in Demo's family's house for the month with his two sisters, Mariama and Hawa. Those are my sister-in-laws. But we stayed together, and I think it really helped because it provided me that structure. They were Muslims their whole life, so they were able to like bring me along. Oh, you were on tour.
Yeah, I was on tour.
He wasn't even here. He was on tour. So I was just staying with them for the month. We would go to the mosque together. We would pray together. And I think it really helped because it gave me structure, showed me like what to do. If I had questions, I could just ask them like really quick. We got to break our fast together each day, which was really good. And I think overall like that helped me a lot. And honestly, like after the first week, you don't feel it anymore. First you start feeling bad.
Or you fast the whole day and then you eat a little bit and you be full.
So it's like crazy. All this food I'm consuming, did I really need all of this food? And then you start thinking like on the days that you really, really hungry, like some days like you feel it to your soul, like you feel it, right? You got a headache and everything, but you can't eat and you can't drink. And then you start to kind of feel sad because it's like there are people who are hungry, right? There are people who like don't have food, don't have water on a daily basis to eat 60 times a day like I like to do. You start to just have a level of gratitude for like the things that you have when you are really hitting it on the days that you really are hungry.
So last question I have is, do you think people should convert their religion solely for marriage?
Like if you just want to marry somebody, you're just gonna switch it. Like if you genuinely want to do it, great. But I'm just not a person who believes that people should do things just for other people. Just like I'm just gonna do this just for you. Like you gotta do that for yourself because you have to practice the religion. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm only doing this. And now Ramadan is coming, so you better be here because I'm doing this for you. Like, what about yourself? So you can't do it solely to marry somebody. You have to do it because you and your heart and your intention, like, and it doesn't even have to be Islam. Like, you can convert to other religions, right? So, like, whatever religion it is, like, you have to really understand it and genuinely want to be a part of that religion so that you can actually be happy and practice it with ease and with happiness. Like, this is something that I'm doing for me. It works out for us. It works out great, right? It makes our family a little bit more bonded and connected. But not just for that, because then as soon as something goes wrong or you're not happy one day, you're going to blame it on the other person, and that's just not going to be nice. And that's just a weird dynamic of like, do this for me type thing. You should do it for you.
So now I'm done with my questions. We're going to turn it over to Miss Tay.
I got a little bit
and see what questions she got.
So I have a little bit of questions for Denver. I feel like people always think it's weird that he never asked me. I want to know, like, did you ever want to? Like, was it like something you was like afraid, like I will never ask her this? Like, did you ever like feel like you should, but you just didn't do it?
No, I didn't feel like I had to ask you to convert. You know, I'm the type of person that I just want to make sure that you do it for yourself, you know, not for me. Because at the end of the day, if you do it for yourself, is what's gonna make you, you know, happy or whatever it is. Because if you do it for me and something goes wrong, then you're gonna blame it on me, like you said, and that was a perfect way to go about it. So no, I did not feel like I was afraid to ask you to convert at all. No.
How did you feel when I told you I wanted to convert?
Wow, that's a good question. It's crazy because I was happy, and I just thought about, like you said, the family dynamic and us being more bonded would make it a lot more better. And when she actually converted, I actually shed like some tears.
Yeah,
I did.
I saw him over there crying.
Yeah, I shed some tears when she converted. So yeah, so I was happy.
So those are the only questions that I have for Dembo.
Oh yeah.
Really.
There was other questions. There were some good questions though. So now we're gonna get to the questions that people on Instagram asked her. You know what I mean? And if you're not following her, you know, go to follow her. Well,
S. Siraj.
the first question: what really motivated you to convert to Islam? How long was the conversion process?
What really motivated me is that I just felt like there was something missing in my life. Like I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't a religious person. For me, it's an important foundation because that is like what keeps you optimistic and guided in life. If you haven't going through a hard time, you can pray. Or if you're really grateful, something really good happened to you, and you like, I just want to thank God. Like, who's your God? Like, what's like, who are you praying to, girl? Right? Like, and if you don't feel that connection, I don't feel like those prayers are as genuine.
Yeah,
you don't even know where it's going. It's not directed. At that time in my life, I had graduated college. I was able to get my little car. I had my job and my master's degree and all of these good things. And I was like, who do I thank for this, right? So I think that it was just like missing in my life, but now I feel a little bit more whole.
And then the second part was, how long was the conversion process?
Oh, it was literally a day. It was literally probably like 5-10
minutes, yeah.
That day, Dembo and his family arranged it for me at this mosque in the Bronx on Webster, like 180 something street. I prayed in the mosque that day for the very, very first time. I had to practice my shahada, so Dembo's sisters, like, they went over it with me. We went over it with me a few times before.
Shout out to my sisters, man.
Right? I was on YouTube like the whole day I worked, like, I gotta get this right. I know there's gonna be people there. And then when I got there, after we were done praying, I went upstairs and like the imam told everybody in the masjid, like, there's gonna be someone converting today. And a lot of people stayed. It was a good amount of people there, and they separated the women from the men. And he kind of like preached a little bit and talked about it and like what it would mean if I converted, and how if any sins that I've done before I became Muslim would be like gone. And he just explained a little bit about the religion, and then he read the shahada while I read my shahada, and I actually repeated it after him. But it was still good. So if you're interested in converting, I do think that you should practice it first, because you're relying on like the speaker was echoing. So if I didn't have a recollection of what it's supposed to sound like in my head, forget it. So I repeated it after him, and that was it. Well, that was just a very formal way of doing it, as long as it's clean. Now you cannot convert in the bathroom, but as long as you say your shahada and you have your intention, that's all you need.
Next question is, was it hard for your family to accept your conversion to Islam, or were they 100% supportive?
My family, it was not even a thing. Like, I just told them and they were like, okay, that's it. But they are supportive, right?
Yes,
I just don't think, like I said, my family's not really religious, so it wasn't a big thing. It was just like, okay. And that's it. So they're like, oh, so you really don't eat pork. I was not even eating pork from before, but they were like, oh no, like, we gotta be very careful with this. My cousin actually, when we were getting married in the mosque, I needed a representative from my family to be there. My cousin, he went to the mosque and he did everything that he needed to do to, represent my family. So my family was like all for it.
Next question is, did you have family who were of a different faith? Did they have anything to say about it?
Oh, yeah. So I don't have Muslims in my family, but they didn't have anything negative to say. They were just like, oh, good.
Another question by the same person. Was it something you knew you would do before you met them, or did his faith inspire it?
I think his faith inspired it. It was kind of like a full circle moment, because, like I said, I grew up around a lot of Muslims. So it was like it wasn't foreign. It wasn't foreign to me, but then it kind of came back around.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Like, you know how it's like something that's always like popping up in your life. It's like you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
So I do think that like maybe God put him in my life for that reason, right? Sometimes in life when things are like keep popping up, you shouldn't ignore it.
Yeah. I believe that too. Next question, how do you like Islam?
I love it. I think it's such a beautiful religion. And I think it helps ground me a lot. And just my day-to-day actions, like a lot of like being like of charity to others. And sometimes like giving, yeah, we give money, a lot of money. We do that, but even if it's just like sharing knowledge, giving someone something that belongs to you that would be really like helpful to another person. I work in a helping profession because I'm a counselor, so me sharing knowledge and like talking to students, like I feel like that is just an act of Islam in itself. And I think also like one, I love Ramadan because I think that that's like a lot of times like we could actually buckle down and like actually put our intention, more of our intention and focus on our religion, because life, like I said, the days be moving by fast, like you stopping and pray, but like Ramadan, you fasted, and it's just like so much more. We cancel out a lot of our social calendars. Even though we could possibly go, we don't, so that we can kind of like focus. And I think that it really like grounds you. And I've never had anything like that before. So those are some of the things that I love.
I feel like with Ramadan, I feel like it's like a reset. Like a reset kind of.
Yeah, you're going to eat, you feel so clean and refreshed. Skin is glowing.
Yeah.
You've been drinking water every day.
So those are all the questions. If y'all love this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Also put your post notifications on too, so when we drop another video, y'all can get the notification.
If you have a question that you would like to ask me or ask Defo, comment and we will come in and we will answer your question, right? So do that. Don't be shy. Ask the questions and we'll answer them. But thank you for tuning in to the
Drama Experience. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Peace.